hiatus, your horror movie podcast.
How we doing today, Justin? How was your Wednesday?
I'm excited to talk about Candyman.
You love Wednesday, don't you?
It was not the best day ever today. We had some complications, but we're forward thinkers here, and I'm excited to talk about Candyman.
I was talking about the band.
Yeah, dude, is it the 13th? Wait,
No.
Is it really Wednesday?
Is it the 13th? Yeah,
and it's Wednesday.
I just noticed that.
I gotta go listen to some Wednesday.
Completely
13.
unintentional. Let's go.
I gotta go listen to some Wednesday 13. No way.
I do. So today, welcome back, Hackstab / make sure you smash all those buttons, like, share, subscribe. We are going to do kind of a tribute episode to the late, great Tony Todd. Unfortunately, he has recently passed away. And, dude, this is a little overwhelming in the horror community. I mean, Tony Todd is an absolute legend, not only being Candyman, but just for his willingness to work with many, many up-and-coming horror directors, writers, producers, like across the board, just to contribute his name to their movie to hopefully get it seen, just shows what kind of a genuine passion this man not only had in the horror community, but as a human being in general. And fucking bro, this sucks that we're doing this episode for this reason.
Yeah, I really wish it was not for this reason. Like, you literally text me. I think it was like a Saturday morning or on the weekend or something. You text me like, "Go look on social media or something," and then I saw it, and I literally felt like a sucker punch. Because obviously, I mean, you can like you said, he was just great for the community. And there's obviously good actors. Doesn't always mean they're a great person. But this dude, man, this guy was awesome. Every single thing I've seen of him. Huge in the horror community, dude. He did conventions and all this stuff. I mean, this guy was just look at his IMDb. Also, I feel like he's one of those people that outside the horror community, everyone would recognize, even if they don't maybe not know the name, like Tony Todd. Like, this dude's been in so many different things. It's like people are probably like, "Oh yeah, that guy." Like, this guy's been in everything, man.
And that's putting it lightly, dude. Just when I say he was in everything to just even get his name on it to help people out. Bro, we just did Candy Corn throughout 13 for 13 on Halloween. And one of the reasons why he was even in that movie is because one of the fun facts we shared was he attached his name to that film to help the writer and the producer get recognized, because every little ounce of star power goes a long way in Hollywood. Yeah. And Tony's Todd name, runs the streets, if you will.
Oh, yeah. Icon.
Absolutely.
But before we just dive in, how about when's the last time you've seen this? Obviously, I'm sure you've seen Candyman before, but like, is this like a first time in a long time rewatch, or what are you guys going on here?
This is hands down a first time in a very long time, because I did watch this when I was younger, and Candyman is one of those things, dude, that just scared the shit out of me. And I think that's why I put it on the back burner for so long, was just because I was like, this movie scared me so much when I was a kid. I've had no eagerness to get back to it and relive that experience, but I am so glad I did, dude, because just even the opening scenes when we get that helicopter shot of Chicago.
Yeah.
I grew up in Brighton before I moved out here to the suburbs.
Yeah.
It brought me right back to being in Waverly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
How did you feel? Was this the first time in a long time, or do you watch this pretty consistently?
So I saw it, same thing. I saw this when I was a kid, absolutely terrified. I couldn't even appreciate how good it was, because it legit, like, I was really young and it scared the shit out of me. And I did rewatch this, but still, it was probably like, I don't know, 6 years ago or something. And I just like, that's when I really loved it, because I was like, oh my God, like, this still holds up. And I was just like, could appreciate it for so much more. But so this is probably like the third time I've watched it, but so awesome, though. I'm like so excited, and I honestly think I even liked it even more. So I don't know.
Yeah, dude, this rewatch was so much more to me. Like, knowing what happened with Tony.
Yeah,
this rewatch was so much more than me being, a preteen scared to turn off the lights before I leave the bathroom.
Yeah.
All right, Candyman. Let's go. 1992.
Let's do this.
They say I have shed innocent blood. What's blood for, if not for shedding? With my hook for a hand, I'll split you from your groin to your gullet. I came for you. Bro, Tony Todd's line delivery hasn't even made an appearance, bro, and I'm already chilled to the core.
Yeah, sick intro, just with like that voiceover, and you see like just an aerial shot of the streets of Chicago, just with hearing this voice before we kick over and like meet like Helen. awesome beginning already. Very sick beginning. Very
And we
good.
only meet Helen for like, dude, a split second because then they start with the
It,
story time about a babysitter enticing her boyfriend to go upstairs while they fool around and they're in the bathroom. And she decides now is a good time to say Candyman 5 times to see if the legend is real.
Poor
Bro,
Billy.
who's Billy?
Bro, is it Ted or Sam Raimi? I always forget his
Sam
name.
Raimi.
Sam Raimi. I was gonna say
Let's go.
Couldn't remember what Raimi it was. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, he plays Billy, and poor Billy, like you said, man, this dude's just there. He's thinking he's there with his girlfriend, thinking he's gonna have a good time or whatever. And what does she want to do? She wants to say the name 5 times, test out the urban legend. And as he goes downstairs, you hear screaming, and then you literally look up in the ceiling and you see like blood just like pouring, like going through the friggin' ceiling on him. And then the story is that Billy eventually he went crazy, hair turned white, and just went absolutely crazy.
I love that fact too, because you hear it a couple of times with the
Yeah.
urban legend of this dude got scared to the point where his fucking hair just turned white like instantly. And that leads into a lecture hall where we meet Trevor, and he's actually talking to his students about urban legends. And instead of talking to them about Candyman or any kind of like horrifying urban legend, like the tales you would get in the movie Urban Legends, which I think is it's a fun movie to watch.
So much fun. Love it.
He's actually talking about one that we experienced as kids, which was all these people flushing alligators down the toilet
alligators.
because they were getting too big. And now they're living in the sewers in Miami. And someone even says like New York. And he's like, well, how is there a 5,000-mile difference? It's because this urban legend travels faster by mouth than it does if it truly existed.
If it was real. Yep.
Helen now comes up and she introduces herself, and it turns out she is actually Trevor's wife, and Trevor is a teacher, and she is actually a fellow student, and she's writing a paper on Candyman, and she's a little pissed because she wanted her thesis to come up before he covered the urban legend part of his lecture.
Oh yeah, freaking Trevor, and man.
This turns into her still experiencing or looking down avenues for people who have experienced this urban legend firsthand, which leads her to a lady who has had an experience with him in Cabrini Green. And Cabrini Green, in my opinion, is its own character in this movie. It is a setting that I've never experienced.
Dude, also, can we talk, like, it's real? I didn't freaking know that. Like, bro, like, what? Like, I was shocked when I literally looked it up. Like, I couldn't believe, like, it was a real place. They literally shot there. Like,
yeah,
I was actually shocked. Like, that was actually crazy. But like you said, like, she's looking for people, and of course it's like, I think it was like a custodian talking, and she's basically saying like, oh, I know a story like of like Ruthie Jean, I believe she called her. And she's like, my friend knows about it. She literally is like, can I talk to your friend? And she's like, actually, yeah. She's like literally in the hallway. So she like brings her friend in, and she's telling the story, same thing, how like this person just came through the mirror there and just killed her, and just it's pretty intense. And we see well, we got Helen with her friend Bernadette now, and her friend Bernadette's doing the story with her and everything. And we see them studying now, and they're basically going into they're in the apartment now at home after hearing all this. And what do? They go in the mirror, and what do they do, Sean? What do they do after all this?
They decide to say Beetlejuice 3 times.
Yeah, right.
No,
I'd rather,
dude. They get well, Helen gets ballsy, and they decide that they're gonna look in the mirror, dude, and they're gonna say Beetlejuice. Yeah, I said
you really just said
it. They're gonna say Candyman 5 times because the legend is if you say his name 5 times, he appears behind you and he comes for you. They both do this, but Bernadette, dude, chickens out. She don't got the cojones, and Helen says it 5 times, and nothing happens. Surprisingly,
no. It's all fake.
It's all fake.
It's all fake.
No one wants to believe this, but dude, I was completely creeped out that she starts giving her the story of the murder in Cabrini Green about how the killer came from another apartment through the wall.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, he busted through the wall or something like that. No, she says her apartment building and Cabrini Green's are the exact same. Hers was just built in another area, and they slapped some plaster on it, made it look pretty, this, that, and the other thing. Bro, and she pulls the medicine cabinet out of the wall.
Ugh.
And she's like, see that? And her friend's like, yeah. And she's like, that's the neighboring medicine cabinet. She pushes it through the wall, and you have a full access to an abandoned apartment next door.
I'd be so freaked out.
I would call the building tenant. I would call someone. I would have a wall put up. I would have security cameras. Like I wouldn't trust a neighbor. Thank God, like her neighbor's apartment is fucking vacant because I would be losing my mind.
Yeah, that was terrifying. Screw that. Oh,
Jesus Christ. Do you know what we skipped over, Justin?
what?
The absolute opportunity to say my favorite word in a horror movie.
What's that?
Because while the girls are deciding to
jeez.
look up things for Candyman, they're
They,
scrolling through articles on some
what?
microfiche
I didn't say I still can't
in the
say it.
library.
After not knowing what it was, I think in Leslie Vernon for the first time. You guys had to explain it to me.
Helen is now asleep in bed. She's, off doing her own thing. She's out cold, bro. And she gets a literal jump scare by Trevor. And when I say jump scare, it didn't really scare me. I know it probably really didn't scare you, but he literally jumps into bed and scares her.
Jump scare.
Hence the jump scare.
Right. Next day, what do they decide to do? So her and
road trip.
Yeah, road trip. Her and Bernadette decide to go right to Cabrini Greens, and it's crazy because like you see them get there, and this is like right in the ghetto, and I mean they are walking out. The people think they're cops. Like, even the two girls.
They like whistling up the stairs and calling. They're like, "Yo, 5-0."
Yeah, these guys are warning them. Hey, 5-0's coming, 5-0's, and like Helen keeps saying, and Bernadette's like, "No, let's get out of here." And Helen's like, "No, it's okay," because like they actually think we're cops, so like they're not going to do anything to us. And we go up there, and we just see like half this building is abandoned. You see graffiti everywhere, and Helen is just taking pictures of everything. And they're like, They go into the freaking room, like where the freaking girl gets killed, and she literally is like taking pictures of the bathtub. And she literally goes through the
wall that the dude carved out.
Yeah.
And you see how entangled Candyman is in just the hallways before you even get into this apartment, because you catch her taking pictures of the neighbor's wall and front door, and it says "Sweets to the Suite." And this lady who we'll meet later on, her name is Anne-Marie, but some random lady dude just opens her apartment building door, and she's got a Rottweiler dude by the collar. Oh, yeah. And it scares the shit out of the two girls. And like, we don't want no problems. And the lady shuts her door, and then they crawl into the apartment. Yeah, but bro, this apartment is fucking nasty,
dude. The whole atmosphere of that, and then never mind, like you said, when the room she's actually in and stuff, and then she climbs through it, and she just keeps going. I mean, there's empty walls, corridors. She's going through everything. And the craziest part is when like you see her walk through something, and then you see the shot from the other side. It's literally like the face of freaking Candyman. She's like,
she's crawling through his mouth.
Like oh man, it is actually scary. And you see this there's like some actual candy there. There's
there's a bowl of candy with razor blades.
Actual
and there's
razor
blood
blades
on the razor blades. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh, and you can tell like, oh man, she finally jumps back. She finally goes back and like almost scares the crap out of Bernadette. And it's basically like, hey, we gotta go back and stuff. And she's like, not right now and everything. And we actually we do meet Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie just invites him in. So they actually end up, like you said, talking to Anne-Marie. They go in and they get to talking about Ruthie. And they bring up Candyman. And she's like, yo, I heard her screaming through the walls. And I knew something terrible was going on there. But Cabrini Green is such a dangerous place that she called 911 to report this, bro. And no one shows up.
They don't even friggin' come. Like freaking
are you kidding me? And then this transitions from just getting involved into the slums to seeing such a social class split from dealing with this. And then they're all out to dinner with Trevor and his colleagues. And they're talking with people from the university. And there's a man there named Dr. Purcell. And he locks horns with Helen. And they start kind of like bickering, if you will, about Candyman's legacy. And Dr. Purcell is like, I know everything. Like a rich snooty tooty. Like, right? You're not going to outdo me. And I love Helen's response, dude, because she's just like, I'm going to fucking bury you.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to bury you.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, sure. And then they start talking about the legend of Candyman, that it was 1890. He was the son of a slave. His dad made a ton of money from the mass production of shoes, which is like, you'd think would be crazy right now because of how regularly this stuff is available. But bro, in 1890, that's like building a car.
Seriously, no joke.
And he went to all the best schools. He was very well educated. He was very, finely versed in all the arts. He was even commissioned by a rich white family to paint their daughter's virginal beauty. Unfortunately, they fell in love and she actually became pregnant with his child. And
No.
in return, the father paid a bunch of hooligans to then take care of Tony. They chased him through Caprini Greens. When they caught up to him, bro, they sawed off his hand. And then it gets worse. They fucking stripped him naked, smeared him with honeycombs from like a local hive, and then let the bees feast on his flesh. And then after the bees were done, bro, they literally lit him on fire and scattered his ashes all around Caprini Green, thus becoming this infamous legend, this mythos, this fucking character, where Caprini Green is now turned into a housing project. Uh, I wouldn't want to live there, dude. Like,
No.
you're gonna
Hell
build
no.
houses on top of this dude's tortured grave, like, bro, plant a tree and then leave it alone.
Plant a tree. Seriously. Yeah, don't bring places like for 15,000 people to live at or something. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. And then all the murder and mayhem and the horrible things that have been happening on this land to boot. Like, no, thank you. Shut this down and go
Yeah.
move somewhere else, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved hearing the whole story. I thought that was really cool how they did it at dinner. And then the next day, like Helen's right back on her grind. She literally goes right back to freaking Cabrini Greens. I think she was looking for Anne Marie.
He bumps into Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, I was gonna say she actually meets Jake, and this kid is like scared. He doesn't even really want to talk to her or anything, but she's like, no, it's okay and everything. Like she like wins over the trust and everything, and she's like, you can talk to me. It's like, okay, like let's talk about Candyman. You don't need to tell me like I won't tell anyone or whatever. And like they're walking like outside, and he basically is like, I'll show you where he is, and like shows him it's like a outdoor like public restroom and stuff. And he basically says like there was a kid like absolutely just gutted and just killed there. And she said, and he even I think he drops the hairline too. He says like one of the man who witnessed it, who went in there, his hair just turned completely white. And what does Helen do? She goes right in there to check it out. And the grossness in this, oh my God. Dude, I covered my, like, you see just the bathroom.
It's nasty in there.
Dude, I'm watching. I covered my nose. That's how involved the movie was.
I have written down, I was like, why is this scene so dirty?
Yeah.
I was like, I can smell this. I can almost taste it.
Mhm.
Like, it's just, ugh.
Yeah, I almost threw up watching it. And it's crazy. Like, she goes in, she kicks, like, open the stall. She's, like, looking in the stall. And we literally see, like,
there is sweets to the sweet written in human shit on the walls.
Bro, like, so gross. And, like, she goes in there, like you said, she's, like, literally almost throwing up. And we see friggin' bees, tons of bees, in the friggin' toilet. And of course, as she's walking out, though, we have 4 guys walking in, and one has a hook. Like, is it Candyman? It's just some local dickhead, and he goes up to her, and he knocks her like right in the head with this friggin' thing, and you see her fall on the ground, and there is just friggin' blood everywhere. And luckily, like they catch this guy. They show her at the police station, and
she looks like she paid someone to let her take one fucking shot in the face from Mike Tyson.
That's what I was just gonna say. It looks like Mike Tyson, friggin'.
Bro,
like,
it looked like she got another head growing on her head. Like, terrible. This dude straight fucked her up.
Terrible. But like the police chief's happy because he's like basically says how like they got the guy who murdered everyone and everything. So everything's all set.
He's like, without this happening to you and him actually letting you live, we would have never have caught this guy. Everyone in Caprini Green does not want to go against this man. He's like a local kingpin, if you will. Like Caprini Green is his, and he runs this persona of I'm Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't fuck with me. He even has the hook, the black jacket. Like, he even tells her right before he does it, he's like, I heard you looking for me. And like plays it off like he is Candyman. Lock him up, throw away the key.
Seriously.
Even Jake is like, you lied to me. Like, how could you do that? And Helen's like, no, sweetheart. She's like, I didn't lie to you. She's like, this man assaulted me, and now he's caught, and he should be put away for a long time. You'll be fine. And he's like, yo, that's not how shit works in the hood.
No.
He's like, that's not how it works.
No. And honestly, right here, I think like we fast forward to like the next day or a couple of days, she's back with Bernadette. And that's especially where like the awesome, like the social commentary really hits in the scene, because you hear Helen say something like, I'm just like, I can't believe like someone that looks like me got this place shut down, but yet all these other people got murdered and everything. They didn't do anything about it. They ignored 911 calls, but like a white woman gets like hurt and
Exactly.
they
A
shut
white
down.
woman that's
Yeah.
educated, she was like,
Get,
this is disgusting.
yeah, she was like, so I thought that was really cool how they put the social commentary in there, especially having the main character Helen like say something like that. I thought that was really, really badass.
Bro, who makes the entrance right now?
Dude, and then finally we are in a parking garage and holy shit, the starts like you literally hear like Helen, I came for you, and you see him just like standing across. Oh my god, like, and it is so freaky. Like you literally see she's almost like, "What? Who's there?" And she's almost like under like a trance. I want to
Yeah,
say,
it's like he ropes her in with a spell, and he starts with this just smooth line delivery, bro.
yeah,
And he's like, "Be my victim.
uh-huh,
I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom. Without these things, I am nothing. So now I must shed innocent blood." And Helen just like passes out to him. I don't know if it's pure like terror or what the fuck's going on, but out of nowhere, dude, it like you said, he puts Helen in a trance or something
mm-hmm.
because now we get Helen is on a bathroom floor with like a jacket over her, and bro, she is covered in blood. And when I say covered, dude, like it's like I think she slips getting up too.
Yeah,
There is blood fucking everywhere. We hear Anne Marie screaming at the top of her lungs, dude. No one's coming to help because this is Caprina Green. No one gives a fuck. And as Helen like makes her way to go see where the scream's coming from, dude, we get a severed dog's head in the hallway that looks extremely realistic, especially for 1992. And I was sitting on the couch watching this, bro. I put my hand over my dog's eyes.
yeah.
I was
No,
like, don't look,
dude,
don't
this
look.
fucking this scene, man. Woo!
And then we realized, dude, the baby's gone. And there is more blood in that bedroom than there was in the bathroom in the hallway. And Anne Marie fucking snaps, bro. She thinks Helen did this and she starts fighting her. And at some point, dude, Helen picks up a hatchet off the ground. I think she picks it up when she left the bathroom
Yeah,
because she hears her screaming like something's going on. But they start fighting, and Helen, trying to defend herself, she actually hatchets Anne Marie into the arm. And then just as she's telling her to stop and relax, the fucking cops actually show up. And now Helen just looks guilty as shit.
yeah. Not a good look. Not a
Uh-huh.
good look. Not a good look at all.
And
But holy shit, though, dude, that whole scene, like you went from like this insane, I don't even understand, man, dude, 44 minutes before you see Candyman. Normally, if you told me that in like a normal slasher movie, I'd be like, that's bullshit. Like that's so boring. This
I would
movie
call it
was,
pacing issues.
yeah,
If you
I'd
told
be
me I had
like,
to wait 44 minutes, I did this with The Burning, bro. It's like
yeah,
pacing issues. It is
yeah.
47 minutes and we finally get a kill.
Dude, I'd be pissed. This movie with like the lore and the myth and all that, like, dude, you are so invested in it. It does, and then when it happens, you're like, holy shit. And then it just dumps like all this blood on top of you and like just the chaos. Holy shit. And this movie it just goes more batshit crazy. Like you said, the cops came in there. Now she's arrested, but she gets bailed out because there's no body even of the baby or anything. The baby, they're hoping is okay. But you see the lawyer walks her out and everything, and she's basically like, I blacked out, and just she's questioning Trevor, like Trevor, like
Yeah, where are you?
Yeah,
Why didn't you
calls.
answer me? He gives a good explanation. I mean, you know
Yeah.
it's bullshit, but he's like, bro, it's 3 a.m. I was fucking sleeping.
And it's crazy. So now she's back home and everything, and she's like looking through like a bunch of pictures and everything, and she like sees something, and she's like zeroing and focusing on like blowing up the picture, and we literally see freaking Candyman is in one of the freaking pictures, and she goes over to the mirror right now, and holy hell, I almost had a heart attack. We get a hook. The friggin' hook smashes through the friggin' wall. Like,
Dude.
this one, did this get you enough?
Yes, because if you've ever seen a horror movie, whenever you're in a tense filled moment and you feel like something's gonna happen, Scream 5 actually plays a lot of tropes on this. When I can't remember his name, the kid's in the kitchen and he's prepping like dinner for him and his mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, yep.
Anytime there's a cabinet door open and you shut it, the
Yeah.
second you shut it, you're expecting a jump scare. A
Yeah.
door, the second you shut it, jump scare.
Yep.
A bathroom mirror, jump scare. Shower curtain, jump scare. Anything like that, dude, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. These guys do the exact opposite. She's got the medicine cabinet open And we're expecting the second she shuts it, dude, he's going to be right behind her, right?
Right.
Nah, doesn't even give her a chance to shut up, bro. Just smashes through the fucking medicine cabinet and takes a swipe at her.
Dude, this is my third time watching this movie, and somehow I knew it was gonna come. I forgot at that moment. At the same time, I was like so tense. I seriously thought I remembered it wrong. I thought she was gonna shut it and it was gonna happen. Yet,
Dude.
sure enough, hook.
And then she goes to like run away for safety, whatever, and gets out of the hallway. Bam, he's there. She goes back inside of the apartment. He's still there.
There.
And I mean, Bernadette shows up to save the day, right?
Oh yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding. She's not there to save the day. She's there just to get murdered. Great. Your best friend shows up and she gets fucking hacked to bits. She literally gets split from groin to gullet.
Groin to gullet, just like you fucking said.
Yeah, dude, Trevor and shows up and she looks guilty as shit. And then we see the cops are there too. And when you finally see Bernadette's dead body, it took me a second, and I never realized this watching it without like taking notes or paying attention or anything.
Yeah.
Bro, she is covered in the pictures that they took from Cabrini Green.
Yeah.
Absolutely covered.
Yeah, I don't think I noticed that the times before either. I did see it obviously this time, paying attention and everything.
Yeah. And then she gets taken away by the cops, and I'm thinking she's going back to jail.
Mm-hmm.
She's not, bro, because she gets stripped, she gets searched, the whole 9 yards. And then we see, dude, she's strapped to a bed now, and she's clearly being taken somewhere to become institutionalized.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's greeted by Candyman. And I love this effect, dude, hovering right over her and slowly coming down, like torturing her, bro. She's screaming at him. He's a murderer. Get the fuck away from me. And all my man wants is a kiss. He just wants the most passionate kiss in the world. And she's denying him. She's like, nah, fuck you. Like, you're a murderer. Get out of here. Then he like disappears under the bed. And all these orderlies come in and they give her a fucking tranquilizer that just absolutely knocks her out. How long do you think they knock her out for? Because I thought it was like an hour.
It literally felt like an hour. And like you said, like it's like an hour, you think, like, because she's like screaming, he's under the bed and everything. And she's basically just like taken down the hall and everything and like pushed into Dr. Burke's office. And in here, she thinks it's been like an hour. She's like talking about what's going on. And he's like, what do you think? Like, for like you've been charged with murder. Like, you've been here for the past month. And she's like, wait, month?
What?
He's like, we've been tranquilizing you with sedatives. And he's like, let me show you a video. And he shows her the video of she shows the video that Sean just talked about of Candyman coming down and everything. But there's nothing there. And you can tell she's freaked out. She's like, well, like, there's no Candyman. It's just her going crazy. But she's like, you know what? I have a plan. She's like, I can prove I'm innocent. Like, I'll call him. And she like looks over and there's a mirror there. And she literally calls Candyman. I'm not even going to say it 5 times, but she says it the 5 times in the mirror. And like, she kind of just turns to Dr. Burke and this dude's kind of just staring at her like, what are you doing? And holy shit, Candyman decides slicing him up from the spine, like rips
hands down my favorite kill of this movie,
dude.
I think it's just because we see everything and how brutal he is as Candyman.
Absolutely brutal. Like, rips this dude's like spine friggin' out, and never mind, he like cuts Helen's free, and he like shoots out the friggin' window. And after that, she like realizes like, well, she better get the hell out of here. So she jumps out on the window too, and she friggin' bails.
She goes on the ledge and she like shimmies across to the next room, just one window over, and bangs on the window, and the nurse lets her in like nothing's wrong. Bro, you were in the next window over, the next room. Like, you heard everything. The fuck? And she just punches this nurse in the face, knocks her out, and then begins to strip off her clothes. And my only notes for this scene is this man in the bed looks happy, probably because he's seen 2 women almost fully naked. It's got to be the best day of his life, especially if he's strapped down to a bed in the loony bin.
Can't do anything. You just sit there. You're like, what the hell?
Because it looks like he looks over and he's smiling.
He is. He's just smiling and looking.
He's like, oh yeah, like, this is happening.
Oh my god, it's my best day ever.
Helen seeks refuge in the only place that she's ever felt comfort, which is your own home. Yep. Understandably, she's going back there. She needs to talk to Trevor, the man who she's married to, for better, for worse, for sickness, for health, for the whole 9 yards, bro. She walks in. And she's like, what is going on? And at first, I'm like, he's painting, whatever. She then sees the student from the opening set of scenes in Trevor's lecture hall there, almost half naked, wearing his shirt and then like bra and panties. And she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She immediately starts crying, and Trevor's like, "Oh, honey, did you get another boo boo?" And comes walking around in his fucking cheesy ass bathrobe, this giant piece of shit. And all I've got in my notes is who the fuck paints an entire apartment, cabinets and all, pink?
That was a lot of everything was just pink. Yeah, no, that was just a lot of pink everywhere.
It just disgusted, dude. And right at this set of scenes, my heart broke for Helen because I was like, whether or not you're dealing with Candyman doing this, or if you're becoming hypnotized and doing this on your own, this man was your husband, and he straight up left you in a loony bin to go fuck his student.
Yeah, rough scene, and you can see the pain in Helen and everything. At first, like obviously she's wicked angry. You can tell they're like freaked out, also a little scared of her too, because obviously she's got a lot of shit going on. But she basically like you just see her after she throws a little tantrum. She just realizes like she's like I have nothing left. Like I think she literally says like this is all I have. Like I have literally nothing left. And you see her just walk out, and you see them jump to the phone to call, and she's just gonna head right back to friggin' Cabrini Greens and just friggin' head
She's
right
even
back.
like, did you get a feeling that she was even contemplating suicide at one point?
Yeah, you literally
It looks like she's standing over a river and just ready to end it.
Yeah, she was like on a river, a bridge, and she's doing something, just looking, just kind of like you just see her like contemplating and realize like I just took it as like she is just so desperate now. Now she's just like, fuck it, like back to Cabrini Greens, like let's just go back into the friggin' walls, like let's do this.
And even in that process, bro, you get more just entrancing line delivery from Tony Todd. And he's like, they'll all leave you, they'll all abandon you. I'm the only one left that loves you. The only thing left to feel is my love for you. Like, I don't know if he says those words exactly. I didn't write it down. But he goes like heavy in the dialogue, and he's like, the only thing left for you is me. So come be with me.
Yep.
And she, like you said, she goes back to Cabrini Green, and she goes back to the Candyman room where she like kind of squares up with Candyman, and he's given her an opportunity. He's like, I have the boy that we've heard numerous times. He's like, if you want this boy's life to live and for me to let him go, you need to give yourself to me.
Yep.
And she's like, you know what? All right, fuck it. I surrender myself in exchange for this child to go free. She does. She gives herself to him. And then it is the most intense scene. Like, I don't know if I was an actor, if I could pull this shit off. The bee scene and his rib cage.
I was just saying that he takes like his robot, like exposes his like stomach and everything, and you just see like bees freaking everywhere. And then when he goes to like kiss her, like he like opens his mouth. Dude, there's so many bees in his mouth and everything. Holy shit.
And there's no faking it either. There's no CGI in this scene. There's no aesthetics. There's no fake heads. These are two literal actors making this motion, covered head to toe in real bees.
Yeah, that's all real.
Oh my
bees.
God,
like,
talk about fucking commitment.
Yeah, he literally had them in his mouth. Like I was reading, like he actually had these in his mouth, and he like literally like kisses her, and you see like he walks over, you see him like pick up the baby and everything, but then all of a sudden she like Helen like comes to from the trance, but she's still unfortunately still in the friggin' back room. And you basically, she's like walking around now. And dude, the imaging, like you gotta, I mean, if you haven't seen this, see it, but there's candles everywhere. And like on the wall, it literally says like, it was always you, Helen. And she's like staring, she's seeing like a picture of like a woman like on the wall. Like,
and it is the artwork on this wall is clearly not like the Picasso paintings or anything like that. But whoever painted this, the lady on this fucking portrait is eerily similar to Helen, right down to all the facial features. And Helen decides like, all right, I need to do something. I need to start battling back. And I don't know what possesses her to go down to this wood pile, but she needs to save this baby because she's realized like, you know, he's lied to me.
Right.
So she goes down and she just starts climbing this giant pile of wood. She starts fighting her way on the inside. And unfortunately for Helen, she does have the hook. I think it's Jake sees her from his window and he doesn't actually see Helen. He just sees the hand with the hook
like
go
sticking
behind the
out.
mattress, and he just does like he's so great in this movie too as a child actor. He's just like he's here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just that one line delivery. He's
Yep.
here. And Candyman is real. And we see Helen go inside, dude, and this baby is crying, and she's fighting her way through all of this. It is like if you could see, I'm trying to think of the movie. I can't remember the movie. It's got Dan Aykroyd in it, and he plays like this crazy wild junkyard guy. It's got Snoop Dogg and not Snoop Dogg. It's got Tupac, Humpty Dumpty, like all of them. But it takes place in a junkyard, and you can literally go into a junk pile, and it's like there's mazes and like little rooms inside. This is what that gives off because she's fighting through this junk pile, and it's almost like this hallway is built into this fucking junk pile to get to this baby. And when she gets to this baby, she holds on to it, and Candyman doesn't reappear yet, but we do see that Jake and half of Caprini Green is coming out to hunt Candyman because they think he's the only person in this pile.
Oh,
And they come out with torches, bro.
and a lot of gas.
Cans of gasoline and anything flammable.
A friggin' gas.
And they fucking soak this thing. And just before they light it on fire, Candyman comes back. And he almost hugs Helen, but with his other hand, he covers her mouth so she can't scream.
Yep.
And at this point, dude, they decide to light it on fire. And everyone is just entranced and waiting to see Candyman burn alive again.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we even see Anne Marie looking through the fire, and she is dead set. And Helen just fucking snaps out of it. And she's like, you lied to me. She's like, you lied. This child was supposed to live. So she actually fights her way out of this gigantic burning pile of wood. And she crawls out. She's fully on fire. And Anne Marie sees that she's got the baby. Anne Marie grabs her baby to safety. They put the fire out on Helen. But unfortunately, when Helen gets picked up by like the EMTs and all that stuff, we realize, dude, that she has died from these burns.
Dude, awful. And like you said before, like it was badass how she fought him up. She grabbed like a wooden plank that was like on fire to stab like Candyman to break free. And like you said, when she crawls out, like there's people like they're throwing blankets on her. They're trying to put her out and everything. And you see her hair and her hair is gone. Like you see her head is all she is just burnt up. But oh my God, I can't believe she died. But you literally see like at her funeral or whatever the part is called when you're at the graveyard when she's literally being like lowered into the ground. You see Dickhead there. I mean Trevor.
Yeah, and he's there with the fucking girlfriend.
There with your girlfriend, like real fucking classy. And there's not a lot of people there. There's like 6 people there. But then all of a sudden you look up and you see friggin' Anne Marie with her baby. You see Jake, and she's just leading.
It's like all of Caprini Green.
Yeah. Like all the Caprini Greens went there. They're walking through the friggin' graveyard to go honor her, and it was just pretty badass. We see Jake right there. He throws a hook into there.
The real hook, not the fake hook that she had. He throws in the real hook.
Throws the actual real hook. And then after we fade from that, we just got a few scenes left where we're back at friggin' Trevor's house.
Just real quick with this whole plot burial scene. I've got written down because I've never tried to like take notes on anything like this before. I've never tried to like wrap my head around like what's going on, my thoughts and all this other shit. Bro, I can't tell if Caprini Green shows up to honor her for her battling Candyman because they think like when they throw the hook that it's some kind of like salute, or are they bringing the hook there to bury with her to try to get rid of this legend like once and for all? And they still think that she's a bad person. Like I couldn't dissect one from the other. I couldn't tell if Caprini Green was there to honor her and say thank you, or if Caprini Green was there to say goodbye. Like take this hook and let the legend die.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I was thinking that obviously at first when I saw him, they had it obviously to honor, and I was a little confused when they threw the hook in there too. But now, I mean, they're back at Trevor's house now, and we see Trevor is like a mess. Like he's in the bathroom.
Dude, this might be my favorite set of scenes in this movie because Trevor is an absolute piece of shit through this whole movie.
Yeah, this we'll call this scene the karma ending because you kind of realize like he fucked up. Like his girlfriend is in the other room. She's like making food and everything. She's like, come and make salad for me, everything. And like he's having almost flashbacks of like Helen at their happy times, of Helen being the one cooking and like calling for him and everything. And then she's like, and like you see him he's like crying right now, and like she's just like waiting, like what the hell's going on? And you see him basically he just like he kills the lights and he's just basically like saying, "Oh, Helen," and he's like looking in the mirror and he's like, "Oh, Helen, oh, Helen," and he freaking says Helen's
Says
name
it five
5 times.
times.
He says her name 5 times. And holy shit, Helen now appears. Like the burnt off hair, insane, crazy looking Helen. And we hear just screaming, and we see like the girlfriend runs in and opens the door, and friggin' Trevor is just gutted, sliced the hell up in the friggin' bathtub. The end. Candyman is over.
Did you see when she came home and she found Trevor the first time? Her
Mhm.
line delivery was, "What's the matter? Do you have something to be scared of?"
This,
She reuses that line right before
yeah,
she kills Trevor at the end. I am so glad, dude, she killed Trevor. And it was her and not Candyman.
right. It's crazy, yeah, that she became it. Crazy, 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 crazy.
I've got yeah, I was like, Trevor said this 5 times, and then Helen shows up to gut him like a fish. I guess she's now the new Candy Woman.
Seriously. So sad. Dude, I was so upset that poor Helen had to die. That was awful.
That was, but I mean, movies are what they are, and I think this was
Uh,
a great way to end the movie without it
yeah,
just being like, "Oh, the killer's dead. See you later."
right.
You know what I mean? No happy endings, no nothing.
Yeah,
I love when it doesn't have a happy ending. I also
yeah.
really like when Candyman dies in this fire. You can tell the exact moment that he actually dies because
Hmm.
did you see it looked like
What?
burning embers, but all the
Yeah.
bees catch on fire. I thought that was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I wrote that in my notes. You see like the bees all like shot out of it, which was
Yeah.
friggin' badass. Like so badass.
Hell yeah. Justin, give me your final thoughts and your rating on this movie because
Um,
I, my friend, have a fucking mouthful.
yeah, I love this movie. I think it's a great like it's just a great movie overall. Like I almost feel like people who don't love even all like horror movies would probably love this movie because the story is so good. Dude, the solid acting is so freaking good. Like never mind like Tony Todd. Like obviously we all love Tony Todd, but like Virginia Madsen did awesome. Like the girl played Bernadette, Trevor played was a jerk, but like
Yeah.
the acting was unbelievable in this. But not only just the acting, I think every like even the score, like the music to this was super eerie. The setting was badass, and like you really felt like you were in this movie. And at the same time, it had gore. Tony Todd was actually terrifying. Like he's absolutely actually friggin' scary. I love this. I give this I give this a 9. Like this is a 9 out of 10 for me. I had a few questions that I was a little confused by, but I looked into it more to help make some few make it make sense. But yeah, I give it a 9. I love this movie. Love it.
All right. So buckle up and get ready for a story.
Oh my God. All right.
I got this is my final thoughts word for word. I'm just gonna read it.
All right.
Some actors play a part. Legends take on a persona. This movie is in the goated category for a reason. It strays away from your typical slashes of the time and leaves those suburbs and those camps behind. Candyman was born in a terrible time where races were to remain apart, and he fell in love with a white woman and was punished severely for what his heart ached for, giving us a truly tragic love story that creates this absolute monster. His remains being scattered in the area that has since been turned into housing gives us a hunting ground we've never experienced, especially in this time frame. Virginia Madison as Helen is our main character, and she absolutely acts her ass off with her battle of sanity and her battle of Candyman. Also, Tony Todd full body embracement of the Candyman was so flawlessly executed that I cannot picture another human being ever being able to reprise this role. Much like, fans' chagrin against anyone trying to play Freddy Krueger.
Hmm.
His swagger and the way he actually carries himself throughout this movie kind of gives me mob boss vibes. Greatly feared, but tremendously respected and surrounded by a legend that just constantly grows within the neighborhood. The fact that Tony Todd has minimal screen time isn't a crime. It actually works in his favor, giving him the ability to send shivers down your spine with every line he delivers off screen. The deep tones and passion in those deliveries almost become a character of their own. The piano throughout this movie is hands down one of the best constant suspense building pieces I've heard since John Carpenter's Halloween. I'm giving this an 8.9. Sweets to the sweet, Tony. Rest in peace, legend.
Hell yeah. Awesome. And dude, what the only thing what I said that I didn't understand, like at first I was confused. I'm like, why is Candyman killing black people? Like I didn't understand. I'm like, shouldn't he be going after the people who like killed him? And I like that's like I had to look. I like couldn't get my head around that. But they
Okay.
literally say like, so first of all, so this was based off oh, what's the name of the story by Clive Barker? Oh my God, I have it written down somewhere. So this is based on a story by Clive Barker, which is crazy. And I can't think of the name right now. I had it written down somewhere, but I can't. Where the heck is it? But apparently in that, like this isn't he isn't just a pure ghost of I forget Candyman's actual name. Joe, is it Joseph something? They said he wasn't just it isn't just a pure ghost. I guess in part 2 and 3, they make it more like he's just a pure ghost of it. But they say basically this entity of Candyman formed by the fear and like the faith of like the story being told and anyone who told the story and all the black community were the ones that were fearful and told the story. So I guess that's like why he came and still haunted them. He was basically like it wasn't a pure ghost of the guy who got killed. It was more of an entity formed through all like the fear of the story and the incarnation of it, which I thought was kind of cool because I was a little confused by that at first. I'm like, wait, why is he doing this? But and it's a badass tagline. It literally says, "We dare you to say his name 5 times." Like I ain't gonna
I've
do
still
it.
never
Like
done it.
I never done it. I ain't gonna ever do it. Like never gonna do it. This had a budget of $6 million, and the sweets to the sweet that you kept mentioning, it was written at the crime scene. That's actually a quote from Hamlet. Do you know that?
Yeah, I got that in the fun facts. That is a sweet from quote from William Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Yeah. Yep. Badass. What else you got?
Oh, I've got a lot, dude. This had a ton of fun facts.
Can I say one more thing before you jump in? Dude, I was talking about the composer, which I thought did a great job. You see that dude was like pissed at it at first?
Yeah,
Like
he did.
Philip
He
Glass?
didn't like his
What
work,
a,
and it's growing on him since then.
yeah, he literally one of his quotes was like, whatever, it's a classic. I still get checks from it. Like because I guess he thought it was supposed to be I can't what the hell is the name of the story this is based on? I thought I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't. But anyway, like it was this was a short story by Clive Barker, and he thought it was going to be more of an artful movie, and he thought that they turned it into like a low budget slasher film, like the second half of it, and he didn't like it. He thought it was just like a dumb, low budget slasher film, so he was like actually like kind of upset with it. So
Well, joke's on
that's
him because this is one of the most iconic movies in horror history.
right. I freaking love it.
All right. So, did you know the bees were specifically bred for this movie? They needed to make sure the bees were only 12 hours old so they could
Crazy,
look like mature bees, but their stingers wouldn't be powerful enough to do any real damage.
crazy, so cool.
The exterior hallway and staircase scenes were actually filmed for a few days in the infamous Cabrini Green housing projects, though the producers had to make a deal with the ruling gang members to put them in the movie as extras to ensure
Extras.
the cast and crew's safety during filming. Even with this arrangement, though, a sniper put a bullet through the production van on the last day of filming. Luckily, no one was injured.
Yeah, crazy. Like they actually filmed in like a dangerous place. Like that's so crazy.
And then, while investigating one of Candyman's crime scenes, Helen and Bernadette discover that the design of the apartment's medical cabinet made it possible for a point of entry for an intruder. This was not made up, and this was not fiction. While researching the film, Bernard Rose learned that a series of murders had actually been committed in Chicago in this very way. That is creepy as shit, knowing that that was actually true.
Did you look into that at all?
A little bit.
Yeah, actually, like so, dude. Like I literally looked it up. Like there's literally like they came in through the window and the bathroom mirror. A murder in the projects. Ruthie Mae McCoy was a person. They said apparently she had like I forget if they said like schizophrenia or something. So she had a bunch of different issues. But she literally called like the cops and said like they're coming through the wall. Like I hear them and stuff. And like when the cops like when they finally showed up there, they thought that she was just like hallucinating and stuff. When like they finally showed up, she was literally dead on the floor, like all killed. Like I looked up the actual story,
It's
like
very gruesome.
very gruesome, like crazy story. Like this whole, oh man, this movie's got so much crazy shit about it.
Did you know that in Slashers Part One, this is a documentary kind of thing from
Hmm.
2018. Tony Todd said he was actually stung by bees 26 times in the space of the Candyman trilogy.
Dude, I saw him say that. So I never watched TMZ, but obviously because I love horror, I saw a clip when he was like walking through an airport or something, and like TMZ like talked to him, and he literally said that, and they're like, "What? You really got stung?" And he's I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard, oh, if he was joking, but he did say like in his contract, he said he got like
A
$1,000 per
thousand
sting.
dollars per bee sting.
Like he literally said it to like he said it to like the camera guy. He was like, "I got a pretty good deal." He's like $1,000 a pop. So I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but that it is. That's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. This is also Tony Todd's favorite role and movie of his own.
What's
Whenever
this?
this has got to be one of my favorite fun facts, though, of this little triage that I have right now.
Yeah.
Whenever Candyman is walking, his footsteps have no sound, signifying his status as rumor and mythology powered by superstition come to life.
Yep.
I thought it's small things like that inside of a horror movie that make all the difference that you don't notice until it's either pointed out to you, or if you're one of those people that are like, why can I hear him walking? He's supposed to be a myth.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like it's small shit like that. It's the attention to details that really like help make a movie as incredible as this one. Um Bro, did you know the effects crew had a local blacksmith make Candyman's hook, but when they went to pick it up, the blacksmith refused to sell it to him?
Oh my God, that's
What?
crazy.
Yeah, I
That's
guess once he
crazy.
heard it was for a Clive Barker horror movie, the
Yeah,
devout Christian blacksmith refused to let them use it in the project.
that's crazy. And finally, speaking of the book, Clive Barker had a bunch of short stories called like the Books of Blood, and the name of this movie was The Forbidden. That's what this was, a short story called The Forbidden. And even crazier is that movie took place in Liverpool. Like,
Yeah,
like
and it
so it
wasn't
wasn't
until
even.
they turned it into a movie that they wanted to adapt it to Chicago.
Yeah, so crazy that the director, I believe his name is Bernard Rose, I
Yep.
think, and he literally took it into Chicago and stuff. But crazy, yeah, this was a Liverpool story.
And to morph such a I mean, I don't want to come off weird, but to morph such a white based little horror short, because even Candyman, I think he was supposed to have a yellowish tint to his skin and like a
Yeah,
bright red beard. For them to morph it from something of, that culture into the modern like social like shit that was going on in Chicago into Capri Greens, to like morph that story into that is just incredibly well done. Nothing felt forced.
no, crazy. And
Did you know Dejan Guy was too scared to actually watch this entire film the first time at a screening for
dude,
the
he said
cast and
only
crew?
watch. He literally said that call me in when it's my parts. Like I'll watch
Yeah,
my parts, and that was like all he wanted
like
to see.
dude, this is why I was shocked when I read that fact about that dude Glass who like didn't like his own composing for the score of this movie.
Dude,
Bro, the opening credits, the overshot of Chicago to that dude's music is what creeped this guy out so much that he was like, can't watch it.
kid was already too scared.
Can't do it. Like, come on, man. Like you can't hate your work that much. But
Yeah,
sometimes, you get these artists, if you will, in this industry, like John Carpenter, who hates his own work.
yeah,
And it's only until like he sits down and realizes what kind of a masterpiece he made that they can just accept that they did good.
right. And
Uh,
speaking of oh my God, Caprini Green again. Like this was like I think we already said it was like a real place and stuff. It was built in 1942, and at the peak it had 15,000 people living in there, and it started to get demolished like a couple years after this. Like I think in like 95, it said it was like halfway like already gone, and then it got fully demolished in 2011. So it is gone now.
Bro, this movie could have taken a drastically different turn. We get Virginia Madison as Helen.
Mhm.
If she was unavailable to play this part, did you know who they had on backup?
I read it.
Sandra
See,
Bullock.
yeah.
I mean, granted, back then, like she wasn't a very well known actress, so I don't think you would have had like the speed and all that shit like burned into your head for like her acting style. So maybe she would have taken the road of like more horror movies and Scream Queen
Right.
But like I'm glad that it didn't go down that way because I think the actors in this movie fit perfectly. And did you see who was considered to play Candyman instead of
I
Tony
almost
Todd?
yeah, I almost wrote that down. It was someone who
It
was
was
shorter. What was it?
it's fucking Eddie Murphy.
That's what it was. Eddie Murphy. I was gonna say I
Eddie
almost wrote
Murphy,
that down.
bro. Like, was this supposed to be a comedy?
That well, yeah, that would have been bad. Like, no offense to
Although,
Eddie
like,
Murphy.
there's all kinds of comedians that are very well versed in the horror community and
Yeah,
can come up with some sick, twisted shit.
yeah.
But yeah, he didn't get the role because he was 5'9", and they wanted to go with a towering stature and someone more intimidating, and that's why they went with Tony Todd for his height at 6'5".
I was just gonna say, isn't he like 6'5" or something? Dude.
Oh my god, dude!
Oh,
The scene where Candyman's hook bursts through the wall in Helen's medicine cabinet. Did you read this one?
yeah, I read that one too.
I love
Dude,
Loveless.
like she got as scared as me apparently because she didn't know that shit was coming either. They freaking didn't let her know on the timing. They just freaking did that and caught her actual reaction, and she just freaking she ran.
All right. When Dr. Burke dies, and I
Mhm.
said this is probably my favorite kill in the movie because we get it like just right up and in your face. That actually won a Golden Chainsaw Award because it was the most visible scene in the movie,
Mhm.
and it's very well deserved.
Oh hell yeah.
And then that's all I've got for fun facts because my last fun fact is something that you already touched on, which is Bernard Rose was inspired by a real news article, Murdered Through the Mirror, about a woman
Yep.
named Ruthie Mae McCoy being murdered in the projects as her killers came through the mirror, just like in the movie. He actually used the name Ruthie for
Ruthie.
Ruthie Jean and McCoy as Anne Marie's last name to pay homage to her in the movie, which I thought was a very nice nod.
It was. I looked up that article and actually read the actual article from whenever that happened, and it was crazy. Yeah.
This movie fucking slaps, bro. I am disappointed in myself for taking such a hiatus from watching this movie
Right.
when I've watched so many other movies on repeat. I don't know what was going through my brain. Maybe because, like we talked about earlier on, this movie scared me senseless.
Dude, I want more. Even though all right, we should mention too, there's two sequels, but I have seen the second one a long time ago. I don't remember it. I haven't heard that great of things of part three. I heard part three
This,
was pretty
yeah, the
terrible.
second one's not bad. It
Yeah,
just like
that's
any other movie, it has a very hard time with the sequel living up to the
oh,
original,
that's the thing. I
where
was
the
gonna say
original was
it's
just so classic. But
right.
the third one is fucking brutal.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I watched the trailer of the third one, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'll still watch it because I love Tony
Yeah.
Todd. I'll watch anything with him, but I do kind of want to watch both of those. But
Yeah.
yeah,
The third one actually feels more of a cash grab, if you
it's
will.
just by looking at the trailer, it was pretty bad. I was like,
Yeah.
ugh.
But after we get done with this, I'm probably gonna watch the new one from 2022
Yeah.
before bed tonight. And
Oh, there you
hopefully,
go.
I make it to work in the morning.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, good luck.
But, all
All
right.
right.
That being said, I think this just about wraps it up. I'm Hacky, this dude right here.
Just Justin.
Rest in peace to the fucking legend
Tony
of Tony
Todd, rest in
Todd.
peace.
Adios.
Peace.